Your emergency fund isn't going to save you. And the worst part, you probably think it will. Look, I'm not saying emergency funds are useless, but here's the truth most personal finance gurus won't tell you. The classic save 3 to 6 months of expenses advice was built for an economy that doesn't exist anymore. And after 2026, the gap between what that fund can actually cover and what emergencies actually cost is about to get a lot wider. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why the traditional emergency fund model is breaking down, what's changing in the next few years that makes it even less reliable, and what you can actually do to protect yourself when something goes wrong. Because right now, with rent eating half your paycheck, grocery bills up 30% from 2 years ago, and one surprise $1,200 car repair away from choosing between fixing your transmission or paying your credit card minimum, you need a plan that actually works in the reality you're living in, not the one from a 2015 blog post. Let's start with the basics. The emergency fund rule says save 3 to 6 months of expenses. Sounds simple, but here's what most people miss. Expenses aren't static. Say you bring home $3,000 a month after taxes. Your rent's $1,400, car payment, insurance, groceries, utilities, phone bill, maybe some student loan minimums. You're spending around $2,800 just to exist. So 6 months of expenses? That's about $17,000. Now, if you're living paycheck to paycheck like 78% of Americans, saving $17,000 isn't happening. But let's say you're doing okay. You've got $10,000 sitting in a high-yield savings account. You followed the advice. You're ahead of most people. Then your appendix bursts. You've got insurance, but your deductible's $6,000. You hit it. Then there's the co-insurance. You're on the hook for 20% of the next $30,000 in bills. That's another $6,000. You're at $12,000 before you even leave the hospital. Your emergency fund? Gone. And you still need to eat next month. That's the first problem. Medical costs in the U.S. don't fit inside the neat little box of 3 to 6 months of expenses. One serious health event and your fund evaporates. It's not just medical bills, it's everything. Car repairs used to average around $500 to $800 for something major. Now, a transmission replacement runs $3,500 to $5,000. HVAC system dies in your house, that's $7,000. Your laptop crashes and you work remotely, new one's $1,200 minimum if you need it to actually function. And here's the kicker, emergencies don't come one at a time. You lose your job. Okay, your emergency fund's supposed to cover that. But 2 months in, your car breaks down. Now you need that car to get to interviews, to get to your new job when you land one. So you drain another $4,000. 3 months in, your kid needs dental work, not covered by insurance, another $1,500. Your 6-month fund is gone in 4 months, and you still don't have a job. Now, let me clarify something important. I'm not saying 2026 is some magic date where everything falls apart, but there are some real shifts happening that are going to make this worse. First, healthcare costs are projected to keep climbing. Insurance premiums are already up, deductibles are higher, and more plans are shifting costs onto you. The Congressional Budget Office estimates that by 2027, the average family plan deductible could hit $7,000 or more. Your emergency fund has to get bigger just to cover the same medical event. Second, housing costs aren't coming down. Rent's been rising faster than wages for years. Mortgages are locked in for some people, but property taxes, insurance, maintenance, those are all going up. If you lose your job and your 6 months of expenses was calculated 2 years ago, it's not 6 months anymore. It's maybe 4. Third, inflation is stickier than people think. Even if it cools down, prices don't go backwards. Your groceries that cost $400 a month in 2023 cost $520 now. That's $120 more you need every single month. Over 6 months, that's an extra $720 your emergency fund has to cover that it didn't before. And fourth, the job market's shifting. If you lose your job in 2026 or 2027, you might not find one at the same pay. You might be unemployed longer. The buffer you thought you had, it's not enough. You realize the emergency fund model assumes you're only dealing with one problem. It's built for a single event. Lose your job, okay, live off savings. Car breaks, okay, dip into savings. But it's not built for overlapping crises, and it's definitely not built for the systemic financial pressure most Americans are already under. If you're already carrying $8,000 in credit card debt at 24% interest, your emergency fund isn't really $10,000 because the second you drain it, you're going back to that credit card for the next thing. And now you're paying interest on money you already spent on the last emergency. If your rent goes up $200 a month, your emergency fund doesn't stretch 6 months anymore. It stretches 5 or 4.5. The model breaks because it treats your financial life like it's stable, but for most people, it's not. You're not starting from zero debt, zero obligations, and a perfectly predictable income. You're starting from behind, and the fund is trying to catch you up while also preparing you for the future. It can't do both. So what do you actually do? I'm not saying don't save, but here's the shift. Stop thinking of your emergency fund as this untouchable safety net that'll solve everything. It won't. Think of it as one layer of protection. You need multiple layers. That means, yeah, save what you can in a high-yield account, but also keep your credit in good shape so you have access to a low-interest line of credit if you need it. Not ideal, but it's a backup. Look into whether your employer offers short-term disability insurance. Most people don't even check. Build flexibility into your budget now, so if something hits, you can cut back without destroying your life. And here's the hard part. Accept that for a lot of people, a full 6-month emergency fund isn't realistic right now. If you can get to $2,000, then $5,000, that's still something. It won't cover everything, but it'll cover the $1,200 car repair without putting it on a credit card at 28% interest. That's real. The point is, the traditional advice isn't wrong because it's bad. It's wrong because it's incomplete. It was written for a version of America where healthcare was cheaper, rent was lower, wages kept up, and jobs were stable. That's not the country we live in now, and it's not the one we're heading into. Real security comes from understanding the rules, even when they're stacked against you. If this helped you see emergency funds differently, hit that like button. And if you want more honest breakdowns of how money actually works for regular people, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.